In this paper mill, the rollers roar nonstop, and a single misstep leaves no chance to react. It's late morning on the production floor. Heavy machines thunder as workers move between towering paper reels. At the center, two massive rollers spin nonstop, pulling sheets with precision. Their power is silent but unforgiving, and workers operate dangerously close, guiding paper by hand. One worker leans in to adjust the sheet. A loose edge brushes the roller, and in an instant, the spinning cylinders seize the material. The rollers drag the sheet tighter, pulling it in as alarms rise and coworkers scramble for the stop controls. Never, ever place hands or body near unguarded rollers while they are moving. These machines pull with relentless force, and even at low speeds, the gap can catch fabric before anyone reacts. Inside a deep trench, a worker steadies a heavy pipe. Then the soil walls shift, and everything changes in seconds. At a roadside dig, crews guide a large pipe into place with ropes. One worker stands below, holding it steady while others pull from above. The trench walls rise high and loose, with no supports holding the soil back. Everything looks routine, but unseen risks are building. The pipe sways and presses against the wall, triggering a slide. Soil begins pouring down, cascading into the trench as balance is lost. The pipe shifts with the movement, jolting sideways while dirt rapidly fills the space, turning routine work into sudden chaos. Never enter a trench without proper protective systems in place. Soil can look stable, but can shift under the slightest pressure. Use trench boxes, shoring, or slope the sides to prevent collapses. Always keep workers out of unprotected trenches, and make sure lifting tasks are controlled from a safe distance. On a busy factory floor, a robot arm moves with flawless precision until it turns its strength on a worker who has no time to react. Inside the factory, machines hum in rhythm. Conveyor lines carry parts and a robotic arm swings back and forth, built for speed and force. Workers nearby handle panels by hand, moving close to the machine's range. The line between human tasks and automation is far too thin. As one worker kneels to adjust a panel, the robot shifts unexpectedly. In a split second, the arm swings into its path, striking the frame with unyielding force. The machine follows its programmed motion, unaware of anything in its range. Never, ever step into the active range of a robot arm while it is operating. Robots are designed to move heavy loads with relentless force, not to recognize danger. Even at slower speeds, a single swing can pin a worker before they can move. The only safe practice is separation. Use cages, sensors, and lockout systems that keep the arm stopped before anyone enters. In a quiet workshop, a single tire suddenly turns into a ticking time bomb. It's a regular afternoon inside a tire repair bay. Workers move steadily through their tasks, inflating and fitting heavy truck tires. The space looks routine, but unseen pressure is building within one of the tires mounted on the truck. As one mechanic works nearby, the weakened tire gives way without warning. In an instant, compressed air bursts free with a violent blast. Tools rattle, smoke fills the bay, and the sudden shockwave turns a routine moment into chaos. Never, ever inflate heavy truck tires without a safety cage and proper restraints. Compressed air holds enormous power, enough to knock down even a trained worker in a split second. A single overinflation or mistake can send parts flying and overwhelm anyone nearby. A worker pulls a pallet jack down a ramp when the heavy load pushes forward and he's caught off guard in an instant. Inside a busy warehouse, boxes are stacked high, waiting for transport. A worker pulls a loaded pallet jack, guiding it down the truck's tailgate to unload. The floor is smooth but steep, and the weight of the cargo is massive. At first, everything looks manageable as the pallet moves slowly, but gravity takes over. The pallet jack accelerates, momentum surging beyond control. The box tilts dangerously as the load barrels forward, and within seconds, balance is lost and chaos spreads across the ramp. Heavy loads on slopes demand extra care. Ramps should have brakes, wheel chocks, or additional help to guide the weight safely. Workers should stay clear of the front path of moving cargo. A single slip is enough for the load to overpower human strength. On a bridge construction site, one wrong shift of heavy steel turns routine work into sudden chaos. The crew is working above the river, unloading long stacks of steel beams from a trailer. At first, everything looks steady, with the beams neatly piled, but their immense weight leaves no margin for error. Workers move carefully around the load, each step echoing across the steel surface. As workers move around the beams, the stack shifts unexpectedly. Steel slides suddenly, sending dust clouds and sharp echoes across the site. Crew members freeze in shock as the platform trembles under the sudden movement. Never, ever pass between unsecured loads. Beams, lumber, or pipes may appear stable, but even the smallest shift can unleash dangerous force. The safest approach is clear. Stay off the load, secure it from the ground, and ensure all workers remain at a safe distance until it's fully stable. On a construction deck soaked with fresh concrete, the slab buckles without warning, and workers have no time to react. A pump truck stands anchored on the ground, its boom reaching up to the slab under construction. Workers spread fresh concrete across the steel framework, boots sinking into the wet surface. Beneath their feet, wooden supports and steel mesh strain under the growing load. As the pour continues, the slab begins to sag. The mesh bends, the surface ripples, and in seconds the structure gives way. The deck drops suddenly, sending shock waves through the framework as tools scatter and crews rush to safety. Never, ever pour concrete onto a slab without verifying the strength of its formwork. Wet concrete is deceptively heavy, and if the supports are weak, collapse can happen in seconds. The only safe practice is preparation, calculate loads, inspect bracing, and secure every support before pouring. In a narrow workshop, a single spark lands where it shouldn't, and fire erupts before anyone has time to react. Evening work is underway. Sparks shower from a welder's torch as metal frames are cut and joined. Around the space, workers stand close, and an unattended steel drum sits near the wall, too close to the welding zone. The setup looks routine, but hidden risks are building with every spark. No one notices that the drum is slowly becoming the most dangerous thing in the room. As sparks hit the drum, smoke rises, and flames break out in seconds. Heat spreads quickly, tools clatter as crews scramble to respond, and extinguishers are pulled in. The fire surges before control is regained, showing how a single spark can turn routine work into chaos. Never, ever weld near containers or flammable storage without clearing the area first. Even a small residue inside a drum can ignite instantly. In the stillness of a night shift, fatigue silently builds, and one worker drifts at the edge of danger. It's the early morning hours inside a factory, where silence masks the hidden risks of exhaustion. A worker sits on a raised platform, leaning against stairs as the minutes drag on. The calm routine hides the fact that fatigue is creeping in, unnoticed, but dangerous. The worker's head lowers and he dozes off. His balance shifts and he tips forward as fatigue pushes him past the safe zone. A narrow miss that shows how quickly exhaustion can turn routine work into danger. Never, ever underestimate the danger of fatigue. Drowsiness reduces awareness and steals reaction time, making even simple tasks unsafe. The only safe practice is proactive. Schedule rest, rotate tasks, and ensure elevated workstations have guardrails or harness systems in place. A massive roller rumbles forward while a worker steps into the operator's blind spot. Engines echo across the job site as trucks and rollers move in rhythm, laying down fresh pavement. Workers in bright vests move alongside, coordinating the flow with quick gestures and steady steps. But beneath the noise and routine lies a silent hazard, blind spots that swallow anything in their path. One worker edges too close to the front of the roller, stepping straight into the operator's invisible zone. With no spotter guiding and no barriers in place, the machine advances while the worker remains unseen. In an instant, a routine task turns into a critical safety breach as the blind spot swallows the danger from view. Never, ever step into the blind zone of heavy equipment. These machines are designed for power, not visibility, and operators cannot react to what they cannot see. Keep clear of heavy equipment. Always use spotters, barriers, and signals to protect blind zones. Safety lives in distance, because one step too close is one step too far. Don't forget to share what you learned today in the comments. Your insight could save a life. Take care.